Peter. Over here, Uncle Ben.
All right, now stop. Look, listen. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this is going to be one of those videos about the death of Uncle Ben. That's got to be the most emotional scene, right? Well, I could, but that would be a pretty basic pick. There are many other things that can evoke emotion out of an audience without someone dying or people crying. The scene that embodies just how emotional Spider-Man can be is a simple conversation that Peter and MJ have in the backyard. The only boundaries between them being a metal fence. In fact, it's the first real conversation they ever have. The last encounter they had, Peter was a little awestruck.
You just get contacts?
The scene in the backyard expounds on almost everything we need to know about MJ's character within a few minutes. But to understand all of the subtext, we have to look back at what we've learned about her so far. MJ lives in a dysfunctional household where her father takes out his frustrations on his wife and daughter, telling her that she's going to end up a failure.
What's the matter? It's up to me. You're trash. You're always gonna be trash, just like her.
I have to go to school.
Stop.
These daddy issues are the crux of her entire identity and shape the decisions that she makes for the rest of the film when it comes to framing her confidence and self-worth for meeting or not meeting the expectations of other men. On the other side of this depressing backdrop, Peter just woken up like God sent his body a software update overnight or something like that. He no longer needs glasses, his athleticism and reflexes are good enough to be on a basketball team, and he's jacked. And is just coming off his first win as a professional fighter.
Don't want to fight me neither.
Don't worry, he'll get his second one pretty soon. So Peter's living on cloud 9 right now, and Mary Jane hates her life. But back to MJ. After being scolded by her drunk father, she heads to the backyard just to get away from it all.
Get in here, little girl, and do the dishes now.
Luckily for Peter, the first time they're able to actually have a conversation is brought on by a random chance of her coming outside while Peter takes out the trash. Also lucky for Peter, although MJ just walked out of a tense argument with her father, her high emotional state immediately calms when she sees Peter, which is the last way you would expect her to react to the guy that just humiliated her boyfriend in front of the entire school by punching him 30 feet across the room, both a few feet away from their respective side of the fence, and separated by the fact that they don't actually have a relationship with each other. Although they've been neighbors forever, they're total strangers to each other, just acquaintances. They've never actually connected, so distance is safe. And when strangers have nothing to say to each other, they just make small talk.
So where are you going after you graduate?
I want to move into the city. And hopefully, get a job as a photographer. Work my way through college. What about you?
Headed for the city, too. Can't wait to get out of here.
Talking about their plans for after high school, Peter's eagerness for the future revolves around his newfound abilities, while MJ is simply desperate to get away from her own family. She wants to escape. Peter is running towards something while MJ is running away from something. So much so that her choice of career as an actress requires her to pretend as though she's someone else. It makes you wonder what kind of things she's experienced at home at the hand of her father. Is being one of the most popular girls in school enough to distract her from the world she has waiting at home behind her front door? You can see the anxiety and hesitation MJ has when talking about her dreams of being an actress, as if she's never said them out loud to another person before. You can see her eyebrows pressed together out of confusion in response to Peter doing the most unexpected thing, encouraging her. Her face lights up when he does this. The camera cuts to a close-up after MJ experiences the support that she's never had before, and it stays there as the tension rises until their exchange is over and the scene ends. This cements Peter in her mind as someone who is caring and compassionate. The other men that MJ surrounds herself with during the course of the film frequently let her down. Her father berates her and puts down her career aspirations. We can already guess Flash is a jerk to her with the little screen time he has.
Here's your ring.
You know what? Whatever.
And when Mary Jane dates Harry, His motivations are to parade her around as something that his father would approve of, just to get his validation.
Why didn't you wear the black dress? I wanted to impress my father. He loves black.
All of the men in her life make her feel less than, like she's inadequate and can never measure up to the performance or expectations of what they want her to be. But Peter, he never asks Mary Jane to be anything but herself. And judging by her facial expressions and her tone of voice, you can tell that no one has ever made her feel like that before, like someone who is capable of doing great things. This newfound understanding of Peter stays in the back of her mind and serves as the smallest bit of tension that urges her to maybe spend more time with Peter because he makes her feel special. Unfortunately, she doesn't realize this until 30 seconds before the end credits. It's crazy how much juxtaposition there is between these two characters in this scene, running from basic observations to deeper themes about their character. MJ is a woman talking to Peter, who is a man. Peter wears dark-colored clothing while MJ wears bright colors. MJ is the most popular girl in school, while Peter is on the opposite end of the spectrum. MJ doesn't have a stable relationship with her father, while Peter looks up to Uncle Ben as if he was his father. With their lives after high school looming over them, Peter is running towards his future, while MJ is running away from her past. Peter's lifelong attraction to MJ comes to a head in this scene where he's able to express himself to her. This is the first time he gets to showcase who he is and let MJ know what kind of person he is. He doesn't do that by how much he talks about himself. He does this with how much he talks about her. It shows his character, communicates to her that he is a caring and empathetic person, one who believes in the potential that others have, even without knowing much about them. Peter means every word that he says here, not breaking eye contact and barely even blinking. The confidence he has in her most surely comes from his infatuation with her. But that doesn't make it any less honest and authentic, does it? We've all had crushes in school where part of the mystique of the person that you liked was the fact that you never really talked to them. You only ever watched them from afar and were able to create your own version of them inside your head. But judging by the look on MJ's face, it doesn't matter that they're not friends. She believes every single word that he's saying. You can tell she's never been spoken to like this before. Someone treating her dreams with the same attentiveness and care that she's given to them for her entire life. As Peter delivers line after line, his words literally pull MJ closer to him. It makes me wonder if the spider bite increased his confidence or something. He's speaking to the girl of his dreams as though it's nothing. No nervousness or stuttering, and giving her exactly what she needs to hear in this moment. Peter encouraging MJ is an act of heroism in its own right. He makes her believe in herself, reassuring her that the time she spent chasing her dream wasn't wasted. He essentially saves her, without even wearing a suit. He then drops a banger of a one-liner that I would kill to have thought of myself and used when talking to a girl.
You're taller than you look.
I hunch.
Coming back to reality, the camera cuts, pulling back from the intimate close-up we were just looking at, signifying the end of this moment. The rest of the world reminds them that they aren't part of the same circle, even though they just had a conversation like they were best friends. They've gone back to playing their respective roles as science geek and campus queen, their social reputations ripping them apart from each other despite their chemistry. The emotional tension in this scene is amplified by what's left unsaid. It's emotionally powerful because it captures the vulnerability and longing that Peter has for Mary Jane. Had this interaction not happened, there would have been no reason for Peter to speak to MJ when he ran into her leaving the restaurant. This is the true beginning of their friendship. And by the end of the film, after everything they've gone through, MJ finally realizes that Peter is the kind of man that she wants to be with. Someone who glows when they look at her. Someone who sees the potential in their hopes and dreams. It all hinges on this first interaction.